This is Bob Mack, and you're listening to Crashing the Party, the hottest show in town now on Kicksville.
Well, if you give a party, don't lock the doors. Turn out all the lights. Cause if you don't let my boys inside, it's going to be a fight. Well, we started out this morning. We're gonna rack some heads. Some names don't have to call the heat. And now we're laying dead. Well, if you give a party, don't lock the doors. Turn out all the lights. Cause if you don't let my boys inside, it's going to be a fight.
Hey everybody, we're listening to Kicksville Calling here. It's Crashing the Party time at Kicksville Radio, and we have none other than the incredible Bob Mack back with us. Oh yes, from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the hub of civilization. Hey there, Bob.
Well, how we doing, gang?
We're doing fine. You're here with me, Miriam, and with Mark. Here we go. Mark.
Yes, I'm here too.
Yeah, there we go. So what are we going to be chatting about today? We're so eager to learn more about what was happening in that hotspot known as Pittsburgh, PA.
Well, Marc and Miriam, it's great to be back with you for, I guess this is our third show 3. And I brought actually 15 records that I refer to or call masterpieces, simply the best of the best off the chart records. And yeah, these are mega rare and awesome records that were my personal favorites, the records that we held out for my album. Of course, the music changed and they became unreleased albums. So, but bottom line is, let's roll with the music. Better yet, as I always say, just unplug the phone for your listeners and turn down the lights, turn up the volume, and zone in on this set of mind-crushing rare gems. And just travel with me back to the 50s tonight and records that made Pittsburgh the center of the universe for rare and awesome in rhythm and blues.
You're calling to me.
Okay, that is Chapel Bells by the Fascinators. It was on Capitol in 1958. The second record that followed was Chapel Bells by the Impossibles. It was on Blanche in 1963. And the third one, the last of this opening set, was titled That's Love by the Uniques on World Pacific in 59.
Wow, Bob. Well, there's a lot of bells chiming there. Always with your sound. There's a lot of romance in that sound, the Romac sound. So, listen, tell us a little bit about what was going on there in Pittsburgh when you opened the Tri-State Collectors Record Shop in downtown Pittsburgh in the early 60s. There was a grand opening story that I want you to share with our listeners. Could you do that, please?
Yeah, sure. Well, yeah, you're taking me back to the good old days. Yeah, we had been opening. I played small clubs in events, and this music was exploding. So, starting in 59, 60, we started finding big clubs, which we talked about in a previous broadcast, old theaters and nightclubs and restaurants and banquet halls. And by the time we got to the early 60s, 62, 63, there were these records that were never played on radio, could only be heard at our clubs. And it surprised me as well as everybody else. But so many people, such a great percentage of the young people in this town were coming out and packing these clubs. We eventually opened them all over the tri-state. But anyway, well, you've been here, so you know that. And then I started the radio show in 62 or 3. So it turns out that there was such a demand created from the playing at the clubs. We never announced the titles, and there was a buzz all over town endlessly, and people trying to find out what these were. It was exciting. Everybody was curious, and it was a mystery, and that's what the fact that they were a mystery is what caused the excitement. Anyway, when I started playing at the clubs, there were some companies that tried to find out. And then, especially when we started the radio show that went crazy right off the bat, we were able to announce it to the kids in all the clubs that finally, after these records were being, and if they could find the title and the artist, and they were, half a dozen companies were bootlegging the records, and then they, you couldn't play them anymore. Everybody had it. It was just another record, not a mystery, and not exciting, and not creating a buzz all over town. So, bottom line is, I decided if these distributors and record companies and whatever are going to sell these records that we were making popular, maybe we should get into the game and do it too. So the Tri-State, we decided to open a collector's record shop downtown Pittsburgh, and you've been there. It's a triangular-shaped building, unusual, right at the intersection, like Times Square, at the intersection of Smithfield and Liberty. And so anyway, we came to, it was the early, just warming up, or maybe May, I think we opened it up. And we had the place all set up, of course, to roll. We opened on a Saturday. So I'm coming down Smithfield Street, and all of a sudden the traffic wouldn't move. And I sat there for a while here. What the heck? I thought, and then so I pulled the car over because it was getting close to the opening time of 10 a.m. And then started to walk toward the record shop location. And it's like some big event happened, or a bus ran over people or something, but the streets were clogged with people on the sidewalks, across the street, in the street. And I saw some police motorcycles, the three-wheel jobs sitting there, a couple of them. And as I made my way through the crowd toward the store, I realized these people were all there for the opening. It was just, it was a surprise, a shock and a surprise. And they weren't around this building, but they were on the sidewalks and into the street, across the street, all over. Kind of like Times Square at New Year's Eve, almost. But Uh, and so I had a couple security guards from the clubs that were there. Fortunately, actually, there was one I had there to stay at the door as people checked in and out, and he had a friend with him. Fortunately, that was a bouncer. So, and then there were, I think, two or three employees that they all were there before I got there with the delay. So anyway, I get over to the door, and then the one officer comes over that's in the street. He was trying to move the people out of the street, and so to get the traffic moving. And when I saw what was going on, I thought, "Oh my God, this guy's going to tell us to shut down, close this deal up, and get the people out of town." And so right away, before as soon as he come over, he said, "Are you're Mark?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Listen." I said, "Listen." I said, "I'm grateful to you that you're here and helping with this." I said, "Listen, we'll get this place open and uh, you know." Held maybe 30 people comfortably or something. It's now a restaurant, as you know. Anyway, and we'll get this thing moving and get these people taken care of and ease the problem. But if you guys could stay, and of course they worked events, all kind of events and shows, got overtime and got paid. So I slipped them both. Well, the one I was talking to, I slipped him both uh, bills for both of them, and. Uh, I don't know what his attitude was, but from that point on, it seemed okay. And they did. They actually hung around for quite a while. And so we got the place open, and there was a speaker outside where you could hear the music play. And I also had a mic, and I just tried to, as calmly as possible. But everyone will get in and get these records. We had announced that we had large copies of 10 of the most popular records. They weren't the most rare and awesome that I didn't want to sell, at least yet, but they were. We had like 100 or 200 copies of 10 records. Go get sale. I said there's plenty for everybody, and everybody will get a chance, and just don't press up against the door and so forth. And it was kind of mayhem. So anyway, the place right away loads up, and then it was kind of like a packed nightclub, and you have security guards at the door that, 5 people leave, then they let 5 in. So I jumped in to help because I had no clue. When I started so many people were collecting. When I started in the mid '50s at little halls and that, the big clubs didn't start till '59 and '60, and so anyway, uh, we uh, we we got the thing rolling. I didn't. It amazed me that there were so many people there and so many collectors. When I started in the mid '50s, as I was going to say, there were a handful of people, you could count them on one hand, that I knew that were collecting rhythm and blues and some obscure stuff. And Barry Gilmartin, Stephen Jay, I think and
Sure.
Gigi Priscilla from out in Little Washington. And, but there was just a couple. Everybody wanted the hits, at that time. So anyway, to make a long story short, it was a long day on Saturday. We didn't get out there till about 10. We thought we'd close at 5. From 10 went to 5. We were there till about 10 o'clock. But it was just an incredible scene. But unfortunately, no problems or fights or trouble. It was a good crowd. So anyway, uh, the oh, everybody was going nuts, and we were taking records. We had a bunch of large quantities, as I said, of some of the records that had been big at the clubs, and now initially on that radio show we started. And we had announced on the radio show, I did, and also at the clubs, and I guess this is why the crowd came, that some of these records were going to be available, that the rare stuff that they heard at the club and on the radio at the new tri-state record shop. So that's was a big key, I guess. But so anyway, we're going crazy all day, and the register filled up, and the under the counter there was open spaces, and they were throwing money in there. Later in the afternoon, I had to send one of the guys over to Gate or whatever it was, luggage across the street. I told him get as many big Pullman suitcases as you can. By the end of the day, we had wrapped and stuffed 3 suitcases full of money, and they couldn't get to the bank till Monday. Fortunately,
Oh
nobody.
my God.
We waited, and upstairs there was an office and storage, and as we needed more records, so we left them up there. And surprisingly, on Monday morning, before we finished up and got to the bank and restocked the store, which we did some over the weekend, everything was still there. There were no break-ins. But bottom line is that is the kind of thing that happened every time we did something. When we opened a club, they were sometimes lined up around the building to get in and for this music. And it was incredible to me what happened. But anyway, these records, I want to get into the music here. The first set was at the beginning of the story. This, if you've listened to the words carefully and turn up the volume and turn down the lights, as I always tell the listeners, uh, you'll see how the love that was lost by this fellow, he wasn't looking for a new one, he was looking for that same one back. And if you listen to the words of all these 15 records, you can follow the story. But these were the ones that were my all-time favorites. They had all the ingredients to bake the cake: the vocal group harmony, the haunting melody, and the words that told a story. And
what year did the shop open?
Oh, that was like 62 or 3, about I think 62. When the radio show had just started, maybe it was 63, but it was early 60s. I couldn't remember the exact time, but it was nice weather was just starting, and it was probably 63. Yeah.
Okay. There were record shops all over Pittsburgh, as there were across America, that were stocking the Billboard records and other records from other major labels particularly, and independents as well. But as for the rarities, the old records, possibly used records, and records from these distributors that were just holding on to old things, there really wasn't that kind of a phenomenon going on. Would you say that you were one of the first collector shops in Pittsburgh?
At the time, yes. The only obscure, unknown mystery records, we called them, that we were playing in the clubs and then I started on the radio, that they were playing were the ones that they could find in bootleg. This wasn't a big deal beforehand. Pittsburgh, like other cities, was pretty much, the hits, the new releases, rhythm and blues.
Right.
So I would say that I don't know. There might have been some other shops that had some, some racks with old stuff there, but nothing on the level of what I found from my sources, best rhythm and blues sources all over the country that we talked about on an earlier show that sent these to me. That was the source, and without them, none of this would have happened.
Amazing. So from the clubs and this whole giant explosion of club action where records were actually being spun, DJs for all of these little neighborhoods that you were incorporating into your master plan, and then the radio show, which was so incredible, and then you just figured, hey, well, let's get the records to the people, and broke loose on that. That's pretty phenomenal. What are the next records you're going to be spinning?
I'm sorry?
What are the next records that you've got for a new set?
Yeah. I've got these records, as I always said, have all the ingredients to bake the cake, and they're the most rare and awesome of all the stuff, and I never got to release them. My friends convinced me to put some on the internet. But anyway, yeah, let's get into the second set, and we'll get into the. I'll give the info on them after these next three records are finished.
Okay.
Up the aisle with your groove. about. I've done without. There's been so much doubt in my heart. I shout for that love. No, 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 for me. Oh, I've done a lot, but what have I got? Oh, but a broken heart, and it seems to stop for that love. No, 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 for me.
Okay, back with you, Bob. What did we just hear? Tell us about it.
Okay, the first record of the second set here was titled If You Leave Me. It was by the Sinceres in 1961 on Richie. That was followed by, this is where he was losing his, going through the misery of losing the love of his life. The next one was titled It's Not For Me. That was in 1959 by Rudy and the Wheels on Curtis. And finally, the peak of his despair in the last record of this set was The Drivers, titled No One For Me, on Drive label in 58 or 59, I believe.
Bob, you started in 1960. You brought in most of the world's top R&B recording stars to play your legendary White Elephant and some other clubs that you had. Which acts put on the greatest shows?
Wow, that's another big story, Mark, and thank you for bringing that up. That's yeah, as big a deal as the clubs and the radio and the record company and the record store, and the one that doesn't get talked about is the entertainment we brought into this city. The White Elephant happened to be a Vegas-style, like, night supper club, enormous, and because it was meant and had a stage that for shows, we brought in some of the biggest acts in the world. In those days, there were no stadiums, or they hadn't found big locations, and the biggest acts in the world played clubs. So then as we opened other ones, the other places that were formerly theaters, banquet halls, whatever, we did take some of these acts around to 2 and 3 clubs a night. So they appeared at different locations, various locations in the greater Pittsburgh tri-state area. But bottom line is, to get to the question, the best shows, wow. Mark, you got to understand, every weekend, and at the Elephant, we had the acts on Sunday night, their last show in the city, and it was always packed. But we did this every weekend for 10 years through the 60s, 50 weekends a year. And at the White Elephant, which the groups loved because the crowd was so responsive, and standing ovations and great acoustics and like 25-foot high ceilings, great sound. I had the biggest sound systems of known to exist in that day. Anyway, so that's 50 weekends a year, 50 acts a year, and 10 years. That's 500 acts that we brought in. Some of them were repeats, of course. But to answer your question, boy, that's tough. Obviously, some of the biggest names. Of the 500 acts over 10 years, some of them were well-known names and some of them not, when you're talking about best shows. And they included Junior Walker and Jimmy Reed. Well, let me start with the first one. Junior Walker, when he first was touring, we got some of the Motown acts. They were just starting, so they were all for promoting and having their groups come in. And we had Martha and the Vandellas and some other. But Junior Walker, when he first went on the road, and he also had what they used in the studio at in Detroit at Hitsville. The group that they used to back up most of the records used two drummers. That's how they got that doubling set. I can't explain it, but Miriam, you're a drummer.
Yeah.
If you're playing one and then you play two, it's like a doubling effect. I can't explain it with words, but the sound is incredible. Well, he traveled with two drummers in addition to having used them in the studio. So anyway, to try to make a long story short, again, we introduced him at the Elephant on the closing show, and the place was packed. Absolutely, the biggest crowd we ever had was 2,000 for Smoochy, but there must have been 1,500 people easy.
Jeez.
So he's on stage and he starts playing, and I just realized that with these dual drummers going, and the musician, probably nobody could hear him singing when there were the words to the tunes, and or the sax. So halfway through the first song, I asked him to do "Shoot Your Shot," which in Pittsburgh was it's such a great dance tune. But I think he started off with something else. In any case, I didn't think the people would be able to hear with that with the rhythm and the musicians going what his sax solos and his vocals. So I grabbed one of the five. I walked onto the stage and do what I had done with actually Huey Smith and the Clowns on the piano the week before. I looked at it. Yeah, and I took one of the mics by the court and looked at him, and I motioned, I'm going to drop this down in your sax. And he nods yes. So I put it on the sax, and that sax was blasting through the house system, and the crowd went nuts. The building was. I thought the building was going to come down.
Whoa.
It was just unbelievable. Okay, I don't want to take too much time with each guy, but then I was big on blues, just like your interview with Dion. He said he got, he was got into music with the blues, and how could you possibly hear Lightning Slim with Rooster Blues or Howlin' Wolf, Howlin' for My Darling? Oh my God, how could you possibly sit still and listen to those records? That's the kind of stuff that I like. So when Jimmy Reed came out with Ain't That Lovin' Your Baby, we had him in. And the reason he was one of the best shows is he was a one-man band. He sat in a chair, little guy, sat in a chair. With his 2 feet, he played the drums. In his lap was the guitar that he played with his hands. And on his shoulder was a shoulder-mounted apparatus that held the harmonica, and his wife stood beside him, or kneeled beside, he was sitting right beside him, and by his left ear, and sang. I don't know. It was like the harmony to his vocals, and you never saw such incredible sound come out of one
Wow.
guy in your life. And the crowd went nuts. Well, at the White Elephant, that was typical. And they called him back multiple times. Trying to think of who else we had. Oh, the Vibrations. They were not the biggest name, and but they there were five guys, and every one of the top tenor was a real tall, like basketball player guy, and then the second tenor and baritone, and so every one of them was a lead singer. Was just incredible quality, and in addition to their hilarious routines and professional show that they put on and joking around and so forth, they they took turns, and all five took the lead on different records,
Wow.
and the crowd again went absolutely nuts. They called them back again and again, uh, and obviously I can't leave out Little Richard and Smokey. Smokey Robinson was there when we opened the second week. I think that's information is on one of the previous shows, and uh, because of his talk when he went back. He said, wow. He said, you want to try out some new material. The acoustics, the crowd, the response in this building. There was a great experience. So that's why they made exceptions for our club and the White Elephant and other clubs and let their acts come in. That didn't last long when they started to become real big. Uh, but a guy named Larry Williams, not the singer, was the manager for Little Richard, and it was one of the best and one of the most disappointing nights. What happened was Little Richard didn't want to play. I talked to him when his manager, Larry Williams, when he was doing a hotel in Florida that was one of his favorites. And he liked places like that in LA and Florida. The hotels where he could stay for a week, eat there, sleep there, their whole group, and do their shows there in the evenings. So even some afternoons. And he was into pretty big money stuff. So he was reluctant to do them, and even after hearing about the trying out great records and some of the groups that had played there and the kind of response they get, he said, "Well, I'll keep your number. Maybe sometime when they're going through, they can work something out." So I get a call eventually. I think it was I forget if it was 61 somewhere in that era anyway. But it was on a Friday, and it's Larry Williams, and he said, "Bob," he said, "Richard left the engagement here in Florida, and he had a show, only him, not the band, an interview and a show and an award to get out in Los Angeles. So the group's moving up to their next gig in New York, and the group's on their way." Uh, he said, "Could we work something out? You said you had a hotel above this big nightclub," and I said, "Yes." He said, "Well, could our group stay there for the weekend and on their way back to New York, they start Wednesday. Could Richard could fly and stop in Pittsburgh? They could do the show. We said we promised we'd do it sometime for you, and then they could move on to their next gig in New York." So I said, "Yeah, yeah." But the problem was, after I hung up, I couldn't get any announcements uh, scheduled on the radio or the paper, any of the media. So uh, they showed up and stayed there, and Richard did come in, but we had the problem of not being able to promote much, and uh, there was this was in the wintertime, and we had a snowstorm. The roads were icy and so forth. So the crowd there, instead of being like 1,500 or 2,000, was at best 500 people, maybe less. And so that's the disappointing part. The incredible part was he did a version of a song that they hadn't played or recorded there, and tried a couple of them. It was a whole lot of shaking going on. The Jerry Lee Lewis song, and he did the extended version of that, which later they did in Europe on their tour because of the reaction. But again, I could go on forever, but that was incredible, even though the weather killed the show and not being able to promote it. But I'll wind up with the biggest show, the most spectacular reaction I've ever seen at any show, mine or anywhere else in my lifetime. In about 65, 4 or 5, I guess, I wanted to have Smokey Robinson back. I had the first couple acts, Chuck Berry and Bo, and their groups that had opened the club originally, and so forth. The 50th anniversary, I wanted to have Smokey back, and he was making big money, and Motown was great. And now you didn't get the CEOs. You got someone answering the phone, their staff, and I explained who I was and the club situation in Pittsburgh, and that I'd like to have Smokey come in for what we were going to build a Smokey 2, Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. First time his girl was in the group, and not this second time. But she kind of chuckled, and she said, "Well, they're not doing clubs anymore. The big groups, the Tops, the Supremes, they're Temptation. They're doing theaters and stadiums and big halls." So I kept talking with her. She said, "Well, the agent can explain to you. Hey, Smokey's not in at the moment. He's working with the groups, but I could." So I spoke with him, and I explained that. What happened, and he said, "Listen, I'll run it by him, but we're not doing small clubs." I said, "Well, those are big clubs." Bottom line is, I guess when he talked to Smokey, who now bought a home in Pittsburgh, he married a girl from Pittsburgh, by the way. Anyway, when he told them about it, he reminded them that this room, if they wanted to try out some new material to see what the response was. The acoustics and the crowd and everything, just like back then, were incredible. He said this guy was one of the keys to this to Hitsville and Motown taking off. He was playing the music and taking all our groups, Mary Wells and the Marvelettes and our group when we just started would shop around and depend on me, and he decided he wanted to do it. So we are the only nightclub in that time and the time that followed that he played, except for a couple of Vegas kind of deals and things like that. And the crowd was the biggest we ever had. I believe it was raining, but it was so packed. In fact, Richie Carruthers, that I think you met, a couple other people, told me that when they were out on that floor, there were people like sardines in that building. How we got 2,000 people in, the biggest banquet we ever had was for 1,100 people. Of course, that was seated, but there were people in the ballroom, of course, in the balcony up on top, in back where the DJs operated from. It was packed. The lobby was packed. The kitchen was packed. The game room was packed. You couldn't move. And they told me that out in that floor, it was just like this old saying, packed like sardines. The people were packed so tight. Some of the girls and some of the customers, they were off the floor, shoulder to shoulder.
Oh, man.
The crowd was so tight. You couldn't get from one side to the other side of the room if you had to go use the facilities or something. It was incredible. And Smokey decides he wants to go down from the hotel room upstairs at the downstairs, and from the back through the crowd up to the stage where the band and the group was. And it took a while, and I'm surprised he didn't get beat up, but everybody was just out of their minds. And that show, wow, it almost feels like I'm back there. He did the first thing he opened with, and people went from screaming cheers to tears in their eyes. He did a version of the Beatles, Yesterday, that just was crushing. It was so moving. And I mean, it was one of the great experiences that I've ever been part of, let alone promoted it. So anyway, I could go on, but those are some of the real incredible acts that performed here. And
what a scene!
Yeah. So anyway, listen. Let's keep this most real and awesome music that I promised your listeners going.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You do another set.
Wow, the stories are great, but let's do another set. What do you got for us?
Okay. This coming set is where the guys through the pain, I guess, to some extent, but it's titled "What Can I Give for Your Love?" What Can I Give is the title, by Joe Gillard on Sphinx in 1960. The incredible record. And then that's followed by the Sport Tones, In My Dreams, on Munich, 1959. And one of my all-time favorites, In the Rain, by the Joylarks, on Snag in 59. That's the next three.
What can I give in return for your love? I would give you this earth and the stars above. What would I do if your love was untrue? Play the role of a fool and go on loving you. As I live from day to day, all I do is hope and pray for a love to call my own. Oh, it just hurts to be alone. Give me a chance, and I promise you, dear, everything that I do will be worthy of you. You came back in my dream, strange as it seems. In my dream, I still love you,
and hope that you love me. Strange as it seems, in my dream, I still love you and hope that you love me. And hope that you love me. You came back.
While the rain was falling from the skies above, my poor heart was calling for someone to love. I said a prayer, you were standing there, you came to me in the rain. Now we stood together, such a perfect pair, didn't mind the weather, love was in the air. I love the day that you came my way, you came to me in the rain.
Bob, that's an incredible set. You know, you told us in the first show that you did with us that you sequenced records at your dance clubs to tell a story of losing love, searching for new love, and finding love again. or all of the above combined together. It sounds like something that you are doing tonight for us, and we really appreciate it.
Well, listen, yeah, those, thank you. When we started to open the clubs, let me just explain uh, why what you said was became a key to the success. Uh, my theory was once I saw what was happening, and I try to have the psychology, the understanding of why is this happening, and this was such an this dazzled me. But basically, uh, my theory, because of what I experienced, became if you get if you play and don't forget the ladies, don't forget the girls.
That's
They
right. Don't forget the
everybody.
ladies.
Oh, listen, they're all there to have a good time. But the gals especially are looking for romance. And to have
Always,
that dance,
always.
yeah, have that dance with a guy if they're lucky enough to get introduced or somehow wind up on the dance floor.
Uh huh.
Uh, that uh, they, if they were out there on the floor, uh, I wanted to help them, and I'm sure that a lot of the young people were kind of naive, didn't know how to express what they felt, and the girls didn't want to start talking all the way through the record set, I'm sure, and so. And they were sometimes didn't know how to express well. They were young, what they were feeling, and so as best I could, I said it for them so the guy would hear these words with the lyrics of the songs I played. And this helped the gals while they had the guy, their dreams in their arms there for a few minutes without having to say it. He was hearing what the gal was feeling. That's kind of deep, but it was a formula that worked. And I found out if you take care of the girls, they'll take care of you. If you had 500 gals there, you would have 1,500 total admissions.
Wow.
It was good business because, the guys would go where the girls were, and so that was so playing lyrics. And these records that I'm playing had, as I said, I'll say again, all the ingredients to bake the cake. They had the great melody that you couldn't get out of your head at night. I mean, the up-tempo tunes, the jump tunes were fun, the rhythm and the beat, and the soundtrack. But the love songs, that's where you found the incredible melody and the vocal group harmony and the words, the lyrics, those words that told a love story of looking for love, searching for love, or love, or finding love, or love found and lost again, or love lost and found again. That was really well. It wasn't an accident. There was a lot of thought and psychology that went into how we played the sets and the message that we sent and how we built them from the funky start to the intermediate and then faster speed stuff. I had to get people and help and teach them to some extent to do that at the clubs. Anyway, that's basically how and why we played records that told a story of love. And if you listen to all 15 of these, from the beginning where he lost his love till he starts thinking and dreaming about wondering, what they do, how can he get her back, then dreaming about her, and eventually it comes to a conclusion, and we'll get there.
want her to know so badly how much I love her so, but my heart and I can't let her know. She is my secret love. Place no one else above her. I'll put her on my throne. There I'll find true love with joy unknown. Where my sacred love, I'm afraid to tell her. Just like a dream, I might wake up and find she's not real. But if I don't let her know that she can't hurt me so, if she doesn't know the way that I feel, I swear by the stars above me, I love her, adore her, I do, and I hope and pray she love me too. My secret love is yours. My secret love is
of the gift that he has given us. All the treasures we belong, more precious than diamonds or gold. You're the greatest gift of all, more alluring than silver or satin, more shining than stars above. Be my guiding light, lead me through the night. You're the greatest gift of all. I want you so, my darling. Angel sent you from above. Heaven knows, my darling, you're the only girl I love. So I pray to the stars in heaven and give thanks to him above all for sending down to me, yeah, the greatest gift of all.
What did we just hear, Bob?
Well, Mark, my friend, that set of three was "Midnight Love" by the Downbeats on Starlight. It was a group from the Caribbean, I believe, in '61. Then West Coast Lyric label in '57, a record titled My Secret Love by the Carter Rays. And then the third one in that set, You Are, or Your Greatest of All, by the Five Sounds on Deb in 58.
You held out many of your greatest records for a set of Max Monsters LPs. But the music changed almost overnight, and you were stuck with a whole lot of LPs. What'd you do?
Oh, when these couldn't be released, and I had my most rare and awesome records of all time my personal favorites that music changed to the psychedelics, which we talked about in an earlier broadcast, and I was left with those. Actually, thank you for. I have some good friends. Thank you for asking. Besides you guys that are helping to spread the word of what happened here in Pittsburgh to the rest of the country and the world, which I'm eternally grateful for. My limit was just Pittsburgh, as you know, with no satellite, no internet broadcast, nothing in those days. And in any case, I'm 85, and I had some good friends recently, no more than Craig Susty, who you know, who pleaded with me, Bob, you missed your opportunity, even with your own record label, to cash in on the best ones. You were afraid to play them for fear they'd be bootlegged, and you wanted to do your first set of albums, and you kind of blew it. You waited too long. And the music changed overnight, even here in Pittsburgh. So anyway, they said, please, you're not a kid anymore. Don't. Your mission in life is what Craig said, has been to spread share is the word you use, share these incredible records from all over the country, from your great sources that had never been on radio, that were mysteries. You wanted to share them with as many people as possible, by all means possible. But your best ones, you still have in the can. Do the world a favor and let us digitize, and your friend that is going to be very careful with these records, digitize them, and I'll do videos for them. And let's put some of this on Google. So to make a long story short, there's 15 or 16. There's the Dance Club Reunion. There's a couple of my radio show that have survived the years, and which most tapes don't over time. And volumes 1 to 7. And to get it, there's 15 or 16 music videos that are about a half hour long. They're all on the internet. You can Google 3 words and get all of them. And the best ones are probably the newest, volumes 1 to 7. And you just Google Bob, Mac, M-A-C-K, Monsters, or Bob Mac's Monsters. And then when you get on, click that, you'll find, I think there's 15 or 16 of those music videos. Volumes 1 to 7 are going crazy. 1 is 2 and 3 are so powerful. They bring a lot of people out. I know it's tears. And the last one, number 7, is, I think, you guys might have helped influence this, but the last one, number 7, is, I think it's 8 of the records that I had produced. So anyway, that's how to get to more of my stuff if they're interested in the Dance Club Reunion and some of the other, that volume 1 to 7 is just Google Bob Mac Monsters, Bob Mac's Monsters. And thank you for letting me plug that, because I'll tell you the truth, when I was doing this, I did everything possible to get this music and share it that I had found that no one knew, never been on radio, to as many people as possible, by all means. And that included the dance clubs, the radio show, the record store even, and the concerts we did. But but we didn't have internet and satellite radio and syndicated radio back in the day. So all my effort, the one regret I had, the only people that heard it were the tri-state area Pittsburgh people. That's one major city out of 50. And now what you guys have done, and I'm getting a lot of response from this, is through your Crashing the Party and your show radio, and you're getting this music that my best efforts only were able to get to the well, over time, a few million maybe in Pittsburgh over all those years. You've made it possible for people all over this country, now all 50 major markets, not just Pittsburgh, and even in Europe, I understand your show goes. And even though it's not the biggest thing now, like it was in the 50s and 60s, doo-wop has never died. It has, I mean, in a day when, let's shoot some cops and just rap and screw your sister and all that kind of, it's not even music. It's refreshing to know that so many people, not only the old timers, but some young ones, really appreciate the lyrics, the melody, the vocal group, all the elements, all the ingredients to bake the cake in these incredible doo-wop records. So Google Bob Mack Pittsburgh and you'll get more of it if you like what you've been hearing on Marc and Miriam's various programs and Crashing the Parties and whatever. And thank you for letting me plug that, because you're making it possible to get to complete my mission that I did our best I could for one city, but without the satellite radio, as I said, and internet, and my inability to, as a low-tech person here, I'm so grateful to you guys for spreading the music that would go unheard. This mystery record, a lot of it would continue to be a mystery if it weren't for you. So I'm just taking this time to let you know how grateful I am, to both of you.
Well, thanks so much for coming on the show, and we really would like to hear a couple more. Do you have a couple more killers to close us out?
Well, the story winds up. Lost his love, didn't want anybody else. Dreamed of having his love back. Finally, it was happening, and this is the final conclusion. And it's the last three records, Deep in My Heart by Kenny Smith. It was on Fraternity in '64, one of the latest records I had. That's followed by the Uniques, I'm Confessing, on Gone, '61. And I don't know how you could listen to this last record without, I'm very emotional about these records and the music and the messages and the melodies and the harmony and the talent. But this last record really sums it up. And it's a moving experience for people like me, and I think you probably have a lot of those in your audience, Marc and Miriam. It's titled, it's a version of When I Fall in Love. The group is the Trickles, Trickles, on Power, and that was, I believe, 58. And that winds up the set of 15 of my all-time favorites.
Deep in my heart there's a story of you. Deep in my heart, darling, I love you so true, darling, forever. Love me true, for I love you, oh I love you, I love you, I do. Deep in my heart, you know the way that I feel.
I'll never fall in love in a restless world like this is. Love has ended before it's begun, and so many moonlight kisses seem to cool in the warmth of the sun. When I give my heart, it will be completely, or I'll never give my heart. And the moment I can feel that you feel that way too is when I fall in love. Oh, when I fall in love. Oh, when I fall in love with you.
Fantastic. Thanks for taking us into the wild and wonderful world of Bob Mack and Pittsburgh, USA. Come back again. We need more from you, Bob.
Well, as we've mentioned before in my conversations and previous shows with you on Crashing the Party 102 and 105, I think, if my memory is not as good as it used to be. But yeah, you're getting this music that, well, it's what you've been doing, and you're the only. If anybody's going to introduce to the world in this country, which you've been doing now, the Pittsburgh sound, the real rare and awesome stuff, the best that I've had ever found. You're the ones to do it. You've done this all your life, and I thought I was the only one until I heard you guys bringing unknown, obscure artists and unknown, obscure, great records that never got airplay to light. Some that needed to be discovered, and at first I thought maybe you were stealing my idea or my thunder, but then I realized you've been doing this for a long time, and we didn't know about the other guy till a while back, however, a few years back, and it's just great that we're still through you. I'm still able to bring joy to people with music and entertainment. Well, with music, and that completes the mission that I only did a small part of in the 50s and 60s here in Pittsburgh.
And we thought we were the only ones, too, until we heard guys like you. Thanks a lot for coming on today, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
Keep it going, and thank you kindly. Take care, my friends.
Thank you. Let's wrap things up today with an original show of the Bob Mack program from WZUM. Thanks to Bill Zimpelman, the mighty Zimp, Pittsburgh's greatest. Oh, yes, let's go.
Who's got the hits? We've got the hits. Nothing but hits all day on WZUM.
send this out for the groovy ones from Bellevue. For Elaine and Bill.
During the void. Camel walk.
For TD and Pizza.
If there was somewhere for me to say I can, oh, I walk with you and I talk with you and I tell you what you need to me. And then, my darling, I would kiss you. And then I know you'd believe in me. If there were somewhere for me to say I need you. If there were somewhere for me to say you're mine, you're mine, oh, my darling.
The first time in the hit line, all the way to the top. Spin Harlem Nocturne for Joanne and Lenny, for Rich and the Groovy Ones, from Cassidy for Karen and Pat. For Donna and Renee, for Ed, Rich, Rich and the Groovy Ones from Brentwood. For Ray and Steve, Peg and Jimmy, Terry and Cheryl. In a Cadillac, Lovin' Machine, and Harlem Nocturne, the top three old sounds in Pittsburgh today. We hope you dug it to death, sweetheart, and that you'll be back with us either tonight at the Groove Session in Sheridan, where the action is, tomorrow at Teen Land and Burke Glen Ballroom. Going to be Baby and all the groovy ones from Carrick. Tear it up. All together now. Blow your neighbor's doors off. Turn that radio up loud. Get the full effect of MACK'S Wax Museum. Precisely.
Get a tiger by the tail with WZUM 1590 in Pittsburgh with 5 more hits per hour.
Miracles, you can depend on me. And when it comes to the old sounds, you can depend on me. The Gator with the heat of the boss sauce with the hot sauce here at the top of the dial. Whether you dig 'em fast or slow, 1590 is the place to go. Uptight, right out of sight. It's Mac with stacks of groovy whack, your groovy daddy, your outer space papa, to put you in orbit on Tiger Radio. Hit us with a little Hong Kong Rocky.
Very groovy.
It sure is. Send it out for Linda and Dave, Sue and Paul, Jack and Ronna.
Like the echo young or tasty. Hong Kong Rocky. Go now, go now.
Hong Kong Rocky.
Hong Kong Rocky. Real gata.
Sitting here between the turntables, spinning the sounds on the groovy labels. This is your boy Bobby from the top of the dial, 3 till 5:15 every day of the week with a new young, forward, progressive sound in Pittsburgh radio. The old sound hit line. It comes to you now every day at 5 p.m. at the top of the dial.
Sweeter than the honeydew, sweeter than sugar from candy too. Oh, this is my
This is the original sound of the Gator with the Heater, exclusively yours in Pittsburgh, the hippest town in the country when it comes to the old sounds. Exclusively here in Pittsburgh on Tiger Radio. When you think of music, think of Mac. Let's get twisted, take a cruise in Mac's Cadillac. Send this out for Greg and Bobby from the north side, the groovy ones from Shannon and Mount Washington.
What's that?
Why, don't you know that's radio?
WZUM, the top of the dial.
This is Bob Mack spinning them back to back just for the groovy ones on Tiger Radio, where we play more records per hour than any other show in Pittsburgh radio.
Are you as beautiful as I think you are? Or is it my imagination?
Into the mellow groove.
Can it be love?
On the Wax Museum.
Is it fascination? Ever let you go.